You once made £800,000 in a month.
I was sleeping around. Anyway, man, let's try and make some money from this.
100 men.
Yes.
How does it cope?
I've gotten used to being able to take a lot more down there. That's just my job. Like I can do 2 at a time and stuff like that.
But is there any sexual attraction?
Not always, obviously.
So how do you do that?
I think...
Like, how? Is there not a bit of him that's going, that's my girlfriend who's having sex with somebody else?
You're on your period and like you're like, oh God,
what happens if you're on your period? Faith is incredibly important in your life.
I know this is going to sound so whack to some people.
It's fine.
God put me into the adult industry for a reason.
In this series of interviews, I'm talking to people who, for all sorts of reasons, lead extraordinary lives. The woman I'm meeting today broke the internet in 2024 when she slept with over 100 men in 12 hours. An OnlyFans success story at the age of just 24. It's fair to say she creates controversy and divides opinion. But today, I want to find out about the person behind the headlines. My guest is adult film star Lily Phillips.
Hi, Holly.
Hi.
Lily's here.
Hello, hello.
Hi,
Come on in. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm good.
Well, it's very lovely to meet you.
It's nice and cool.
Come and have a seat. Yes. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so honoured to be here.
Well, it's lovely to have you here.
No, honestly, I heard you guys were doing a piece on like people with extraordinary lives. I was like,
well, yeah.
I live a bloody boring life.
You really don't. I was just saying to the guys, I was like, I have so many questions. Like, I'm so fascinated by you and your life, and I don't know that much about it, so I'm like, I'm just excited to kind of get to, because obviously you see the headlines and you see it, and I kind of know that that's just a bit, and then there's this whole world underneath that I kind of
I'm sure you get it the same, in terms of like the headlines, and some things are a bit tainted.
It's exactly the same.
But then in your personal life, you're like, oh well, I'm just Holly.
Yeah, exactly. Lily, it is great to meet you. I mean, I feel like of all the people that are going to grace the sofa over the years, there's probably no one that generates a stronger reaction than you will. For
hate or love.
Hate or love. And I really think that's a thing, because I think for some people you're kind of this fabulous woman who's got this freedom and this sexual autonomy, and then for like a whole other swathe of people, you're like the example and the poster child of what is so horribly wrong about the internet.
Yes.
So you really fall between these two things.
Yeah.
And you're so young, so it must, even for yourself, be like, which one am I? Anyway, well, we'll come into all of that. But let's go back to the beginning and to your childhood, because this probably doesn't get talked about an awful lot, I don't think. You grew up in Derbyshire with your parents. Your parents owned a cleaning business. And what was little Lily like? Like, who were you?
Oh, it's probably a diva.
Were you?
Yeah, I was a little bit of a diva. But I've kind of feel like I've always been so myself and so authentically me. Obviously, I grew up kind of with both my parents still there. They've been married for 26 years now, and I had one older brother. But we lived a pretty average life, other than like, I kind of remember in school, obviously I was dyslexic in school.
Me too.
Same. And I didn't exactly excel at school or wasn't very academic. I think that's partially why I love what I do now, because I feel like it's something I truly excel in. Yeah. And because like I come from a place where I felt like I was never really that good at anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that didn't seem to knock your confidence, though. If you say that you were kind of a bit of a diva.
Yeah, I think I've always just had this like thing of confidence. My parents always like told me every day, you know, you're beautiful, you're smart, you can only ever do your best in life. Like, they really did do like daily affirmations with me since I was born.
Them. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think it's really important to give that picture of your family life when we're discussing it in the context of what your job is. Because I think an awful lot of people would assume that you've come from a broken home, that there's something wrong, that you're running away from something. And actually, your family life really wasn't like that.
Yeah, I think it comes from a place of there was a lot of girls in the adult industry where they had to do it out of necessity.
Yeah.
And that's just not been a thing for me. My parents were like fairly comfortable with money, and my brother went to like a private school and stuff like that. So I haven't come from a maybe like poorer background. I've always been really privileged.
You haven't made career choices out of like a desperation or a need.
Exactly.
That wasn't like the driver.
Yeah. It was out of like want and enjoyment. I think that that's maybe where people get stuff wrong.
Yeah. So when it came to like sex and sex education, like when you were younger, was sex openly talked about? Because I often think like your first almost kind of opinion of how you judge sex or anything like that might be, even if you're watching EastEnders with your parents and suddenly people are snogging on the telly and then your parents go, anyway, so how was school today or whatever, and it's like suddenly you go, oh God, they feel shame about watching someone snogging, maybe that's a bad thing, or like God forbid there's a sex scene on telly, like the channel goes over. And I just wondered what your family would have been like in that situation, and whether that gave you your first slight feeling of how people judge sex.
I think it was quite average, like how you say my parents were a little bit more discreet with like sex and talking about it and things like that. I think now we have a much more open relationship to talk about it.
So it wasn't massively open.
No.
It wasn't like loads of freedom.
No.
So where did you get this sort of appetite, this sexual appetite? Because you say you did. You love sex. You learned quite quickly. You were like, I'm into this. I'm good at this.
I actually don't really know. I think it came from like feeling powerful and confident when I was having sex, and maybe like the enjoyment of, you know, when I got to that age when I started having sex and like boys would fancy me and like that kind of thing. It was, I guess it came from like control and power maybe.
Well, I was going to ask you that. So was it empowerment? Was it attention? Was it validation? I don't mean attention like, oh, she's just trying to get attention. I don't mean that sort of attention, but you liked that feeling. That was a good feeling for you.
I think it was like a mix of kind of all of them, to be honest.
And did you feel different from other girls your age?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, massively. Like I feel like I talked about sex so much more than the rest of my friends.
Really?
I was always the one at the sleepovers going, snog each other, come on. So, I did feel like a bit more, like I had a bigger sexual appetite than all my friends,
And so was that, and I'm about to say I'm not meaning to pry, but I feel like you sort of offered this up anyway, so I'm just going to go there if you don't mind. If I'm asking too much, tell me. But how did you fulfill that appetite? I mean, bearing in mind, we haven't started the working, but so this is just Lily the woman. This is just Lily who's, you know, I think sometimes people forget that women have sexual needs as well. It's like, you know, you can be sexy, great, but then you do it too much and you're suddenly a slut and a whore, and it's like, okay, where are we meant to fall here? So you've obviously got this appetite. How easy was it to carry that out without becoming people saying horrible things you're making, suddenly, you know, being judged?
I think I probably was judged as a teenager. I didn't really have sex until I was 17. That's when I lost my virginity. But when I was 18, that's when I really, because I had a boyfriend at that time, so then when I broke up with my boyfriend, that's when I really, opened. And that's when I really got into it. But probably people did say I was promiscuous. Yes, I was. And what?
Yeah, and what? No, I understand that. So then you get to university, and this is when things begin to go up a gear.
Yes.
Because, and this is what you've said, and I just would like you to explain this a bit further. You said, I was sort of selling sex to guys on a night out without making any money. So suddenly there is this connection between doing something you love, fulfilling those desires and those needs that you want just as a woman, and then suddenly going, oh, I can make money from this. Like that's quite a leap for most people.
Yeah. I was always so intrigued by the adult industry, even from when I was probably 15. I would always watch a lot of documentaries about how the adult industry worked, and something in my gut was telling me that this is a job I will do later on in life, even though I hadn't even had sex. I hadn't even had sex at this point. Didn't even really know what it was like or anything like that.
So what was that then? What were you seeing? Was it glamorous?
I think it was curiosity, and I think it was empowerment of seeing these women be able to do something they love and enjoy and make money from it. I've also come from a place of I wasn't that good at school. I was like, God, what am I going to do for work? I don't want to sit at a desk all day. I want to do something that's creative and active and something different every day. And I think that's where I was I feel like this job kind of aligns with me.
But you'd had seen porn for the first time when you were 12?
11.
11, so even younger, so 11. And this was a friend who just showed
it to me. And at the time I didn't know what it was. So I kind of very much I didn't really think about it until later on in life. And someone asked me, they were like, what age did you first see porn? I was like, oh my gosh, that's what someone showed me, is porn. But at the time I was just very scared by it. I was like, gosh, these people look like they're in pain. I don't like this.
Yeah. But you're not. I mean, those young eyes aren't really meant to see something like that.
Yeah. No. I would be disgusted, like, to hear that my 11-year-old has watched something like that or something like that. So, yeah, it's just obviously it's not for kids.
But then quite quickly after that, from the age of 15, you were like, oh, actually, I want to. I mean, at 15, was it like page 3 glamour? Or was it porn? Because there's different levels of.
I wasn't watching any adult content. It was only till like 18, like maybe 18 when I got my first boyfriend that I started sexually exploring myself and watching adult content. But at 15, it was like I was reading smutty books. I was watching these like documentaries and movies and just like stuff that was even like a podcast that I know this was adult actress talking about the industry on it, and I was like, that's just really intriguing to me.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
It's like a calling.
Yeah, it was.
So the decision came to begin to monetize what you were doing. Was that like was it mainly a business decision when you were like, oh, I can make money out of this? Or was this a sexual decision where you were like, I just really love sex, so I want to just do this? Or was it like a combination of the both?
It was not a monetary thing at the time. This was 6 years ago. I didn't even know you could really make money online. Right. Or like I thought OnlyFans, maybe it's a scam. And I kind of heard of it. I knew like a friend that maybe did it, and I didn't realize you could actually make like real money on it. But I joined the platform kind of just thinking, oh, I'll see what I can do here. You know, it's something that like I feel confidently enough to. I was posting on Instagram, you know, me in lingerie. So why not monetize off of that anyway? I was sleeping around anyway. Let's try and make some money from this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even a choice that I was like, I'm going to drop out of uni and do this. I just joined the platform while I was at university just to like
see what would happen.
Yeah, and also like I was so broke. So like, you know, on pot noodles every night. So
the money helped. The money
but I also was like, oh, I don't know if I can make money. So I joined it and I was like, wow, this is a real career. Like you can actually monetize off of this and make a full-time living.
So that first day when you first post something onto the platform, what are you thinking in your head? Because this is crossing a line.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, the genie is out of the bottle.
Yes.
Like once I do this, these images, this videos...
It's online forever.
Is online forever.
Yeah.
And you're very young.
Yes.
And if I think about my brain... How old were you when you first posted?
I was
19?
19, yeah.
19.
Like, if I think about... Just turned 19.
And I'm, you know, I'm not saying this to like underestimate what you do, but I'm just thinking any 19-year-old, like the things that I was into at 19, maybe then later on down the line become very different. But this is a biggie. I mean, I know we all post online now, and 19-year-olds post things that they might later regret, but this still feels
It was a huge decision.
It's a big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Not all downplay the decision was massive. I'd thought about it already for like 6 months and would kind of Easter egg it to my mum, like, what would you think if I joined OnlyFans?
Okay.
You know, I would kind of like joke it to her.
How did that
first. Go? She, like at the start, it was a bit of a laugh, and then like, you know, all of a sudden it turned serious. And as soon as I joined, my mum was pretty much like, you know,
did she understand what it was?
I don't really think so. I describe how I described it to it. It's kind of like glamour modeling, page 3, except from you doing it on your own platform, and you can monetize off of that.
Okay.
But yeah, and
do you think you slightly underplayed it?
Yes, definitely. Especially to my dad. I was like, it's just me in underwear.
I know that you don't like this question because I think, and I totally get your point when people say to you, "What do your parents think?" And you're like, "Would you ask a male performer that question?" It seems like people say it to women all the time, but I would ask it actually to a man because actually I am intrigued, particularly because I've got children. I'm a parent now. I'm like, I wonder, and even think about my own parents, how I'd say something like that. You know, was it a different reaction from your mum and dad?
Actually, no. At the start, they were really quite like, Lily, you've made this decision. You're an adult. You get to make that, and whatever fulfills you and makes you happy, you get enjoyment out of it.
Amazing.
And you get to be independent. Of course, I don't think it would have been something they chose me to do.
No, I don't imagine.
No, any parent would.
And I don't mean that to be mean. I'm just saying
no.
You wouldn't. I don't think you would choose it for your baby.
No. Exactly. But I think my mum's first thing is like, how can I best support her doing this?
Yeah.
And like, so my mum was like the first one who told me about setting up a limited company. and like paying my taxes and things like that, because I had no clue at the time that you know, if you were to make money online, you have to pay tax on it. And stuff.
Of course, it's a business. And
yeah,
you're a proper career girl. Like, you're a businesswoman. That's what you do. So you've said also before that this is something, if somebody else was getting into this industry, that not to rush into it. And I feel like, did you say that because there's something inside you that went, maybe potentially I did rush into it? What's the kind of warning you're trying to hinder there?
I don't think I rushed into it. Like, I'm super happy with my decision, of course. But I know other people who have, you know, made that mistake, or could, you know, I want to warn people. At the end of the day, it's a really harsh industry. It's a massive decision. It will affect you for the rest of your life. Obviously, you're only going to see the success stories of like me, you know, Sophie Rain, who are in the top 0.01% on the platform. Whereas the average earner is like making between like $100 to $200 a month, which you can't live off that. And you know, if you aren't to succeed in it, you're gonna have to get a normal job or something, do something else.
Do something else.
Is it going to be then that
if all else fails, I'm going to end up on OnlyFans? And you're
I hear that so much.
Okay, well, hold on a minute.
Yeah, because it's not that easy.
Yeah.
As much as it's the easiest job I've ever done, like obviously I've stocked shelves at Tesco's, I've been a waitress, I've done the hard graft. It's not as easy as people make out to be successful.
When it comes to your fans, so they're paying a subscription to view your content. Yeah. There's this real connection between you and your fans, and I think that's why this platform became so popular. Is it because it almost cut out the middleman in a way? It was like direct access to you. There was this real parasocial relationship. I mean, you know, as somebody who's in the public eye myself, and you kind of go, right, obviously people are watching you and people feel like they have a relationship with you. Yours goes an extra level because they can, correct me if I'm wrong, they can pay you to do things, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously to a certain extent, I get to choose what I film.
You can always say no.
Yes.
You've always got that.
Yes.
But does it ever become the point where people believe that there is this relationship between you? That they, because you're so good at your job.
Definitely.
They are like, well, I'm her one.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that ever get scary?
I'm a pretty naive person. I'm pretty like...
You're not that naive.
I mean, glass half full.
You're smart. Like, you're smart, so you know what I'm talking about.
But I don't feel in danger from it. I have had like threats before, and I know girls who have had like stalkers in the industry and things like that. So yeah, it's a massive con of the industry of like, people can be obsessive and they have a negative parasocial relationship with you. I've never really experienced much of that firsthand. But it can be a scary thing, definitely.
Yeah, it puts you in quite a vulnerable position, I guess.
It does.
So obviously, this is business. You're making really, really good money. I know you hate talking about money, so shall I just do it really, really quickly? I mean, you are a multi-millionaire, there's no doubt about it. You're in the top 0.01%. The average person would earn about $1,300 a year. You once made £800,000 in a month. Good going.
Thanks.
Well done. You've got the most incredible car.
You like
I saw a picture today. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I mean...
It's great for marketing. You know, you just drive it round and people take photos and videos and share it online.
I'm going to put the image all up, but basically there's a picture. The car has got your face all over it.
Yeah.
It's just your face from what I can see.
Yeah, just my face.
Okay, fine. Otherwise,
with the tongue out. Yeah, just a little cheeky.
We put so many things affecting our health down to getting older, being busy, and just hope that symptoms will eventually sort themselves out. But with the right treatment and ongoing support, lasting change is absolutely possible. Whether it's weight loss, menopause, hormone health, or hair loss, Voy makes taking the first step surprisingly simple and has already helped more than 2 million members take control of their health. Start your journey today at joinvoy.com/together. Now you're 23. And it's 2024. And you decide that you are going to sleep with 101 fans in 12 hours. Now, there was a YouTube documentary made about this as well. So this is major. I mean, this is like not only physically a lot on your body, but this is a lot on your head as well.
Yeah.
Or is it? I don't know. I would say yes.
Yeah.
You may say no. How do you prepare for something? Was it your idea?
Yeah, it was my idea.
Okay.
At the time, I didn't realise, you don't realise how big something's going to get. Obviously, the YouTube documentary, I was just like, just come along for the ride.
Okay.
And so I didn't really deep it that much. It wasn't something I thought... Obviously, I thought about how we can kind of plan out the day and stuff like that. But I don't think I thought of it too much. Like I was just like, I'm just doing another day at work, because I think I'd done like 33 guys in a day before that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can do this, whatever. And I really had not like thought out any of the planning through that much, which I mean, you probably see in the YouTube documentary.
Well, I know you get very upset at the
Yeah.
end, and I think that's the bit that people find hard to watch.
Yes.
Because I think what makes this all more palatable is we go, but she's having a great time and she's empowered.
Yeah.
And she's really enjoying herself and it's a job. And I'm really happy to go along with all of those stuff, because I'm like, good, like, go for it. You make your own choices. You're not hurting anybody. It's your body, your choice. You do what you like. Good luck to you. But then when I see you upset or a bit shaken, and then when I see you, and I think, I mean, you use the words that after about 30 you disassociated. And I think that caused a bit of buzz between people, because when people use the language like in a sexual experience, I disassociated, normally it's somebody who's, you know, it's a coping strategy for sexual assault.
Yeah,
People go,
yeah.
I was attacked and I disassociated.
Yeah,
and I think when you put that word in that, suddenly everyone went, Is she okay? Is this okay? And I think there was just general concern and worry, that's all.
I think as well, when you have sex with that amount of people, you do start to, like, you know, one after the other, you not remember, as in like, you don't remember like singular people, you know, you don't remember everyone. And maybe that was more the language I should have used. I think people thought it was like a trauma response.
Yeah.
But I think, like, obviously no one had also been in my position where they'd probably slept with that many people in a day.
Yeah.
And it just gets really repetitive. I think that's it. And obviously, I was super, like, exhausted at the end of that day. I'm not gonna lie, that day was so hard mentally.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, like, that hard physically. Obviously, I woke up the next day, I felt like I'd been hit by a bus, but, like,
Well, can I ask that question, if that's not too much? But, like, 100 men.
Yes.
How does it cope? Like, is it all right? Do you have to put an ice pack on it?
You know, because I do like porn.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys in porn I have sex with who have these humongous, giant
willies.
Above average size willy.
Yeah.
And that, in comparison to maybe taking 10 guys who are in the adult industry in a day and versing 100 regular men, it's actually like
wasn't so bad.
Not so bad. These guys who are in the adult industry, they can go for hours. These guys in the regular world, not so much.
See, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, and so when you compare it to it, I think
right.
a day when you have sex with like these huge guys is a lot harder down there than it is with these average sized guys.
Do you have to do like Kegel exercises to make sure everything stays in shape?
Well, I don't think it stays in shape. Probably, you know, she's a bit more, I've gotten used to being able to take a lot more down there. That's just my job, like I can do 2 at a time and stuff like that.
Really?
I know. Well, just I've gotten quite good at it.
Well,
like,
yeah,
it's like breathing exercises. You work with some of these guys and they're as big as a baby's head, so you feel like you're giving birth down there. So it's like,
God.
Sometimes you have to breathe for it to start off with. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more to it than I think we realise. The only other thing I was going to mention to you, and it'd be interesting to get your take on it, the director of that documentary, which, as you said, it went big.
Yes.
You know, it did really well. Josh Peters. You came out of it and everybody was just like outraged and devastated that you'd done this, and shock and horror and whatever their opinion of it, really you were painted in quite a bad light from it. He was kind of applauded as this genius documentary maker, and I just thought, I found that slightly annoying, because I felt like it was all part of the same story. Everybody was telling the same story, whether he was behind the camera and you were in front of the camera. You were all part of it.
Yeah.
But did that frustrate you?
Not really.
Well, it should have done. I was outraged on your behalf.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I think sometimes it's hard with a lot of the documentaries to do with adult work, because sometimes, not all the time, because sometimes there is a dark side to it, but I think a lot of the time they can try and make it into this really dark industry, and that's most of the time not what it is. But I understand how he kind of, how that's what he took from it, and that's his perspective, and that's totally fine. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, I thanked Josh Peters, because like...
It was great content.
Yeah, it was great content.
Okay, well, obviously, and I think you'd agree with this, that the internet seems to award escalation. As we've looked at this, everything's incrementally going up. Do you ever worry that the audience appetite will become impossible to satisfy? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it can be hard as a creator to see the association with like doing something bigger and getting rewarded, because then you kind of feel like you have to keep up a little bit.
Going.
I think that anyone feels that in like a job aspect, it's like a creation aspect, that like you have to keep doing bigger.
It's like the tricky second album for a musician.
Yeah, yeah.
Slightly different.
You have to keep going bigger and better
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's kind of making sure you stick to doing what aligns with yourself.
And is that a question you ask yourself before anything, to make sure that it does align with you and what you're doing it for?
I definitely went down a little bit of that path of like, you do get quite like hungry for like more, and like what more can I do? And I think it can be hard to make sure you like check yourself and you're like, right, is this something that I actually want to do?
Because you've been doing this since you were 19, like all of your adult life actually, you've been doing this. It's such a huge part of your identity.
Yeah.
If this was all to be taken away from you, who are you?
Oh, I think of myself as like a pretty normal girl. Most of my evenings are spent like with my boyfriend Sammy, and we just like have a very chill night. I would like to think that I am a pretty good person. I know people disagree online. I think of myself as like, I try to have good intentions with things, and that I'm always open and honest and really open-minded to learning about new things.
Yeah.
Definitely not judgmental. So that's kind of what I would take from myself, if I was to describe myself. Anyway.
No, I think that's a very fair description. What about when you go to work and do you ever have like bad days where you can't be bothered?
Yes, I think that's everyone at work.
Of course it is, but so what do you do I mean, it's slightly easier for the rest of us to kind of sort of hide a bit, but you've got to be on. You've got to be looking like you're really enjoying yourself.
Well, sometimes like you know, everyone gets body conscious and you feel ugly, or you're on your period and like you're like, oh god,
what happens
last
if you're on
thing.
your period?
You put up, you get these like sponges that you can pop up and you can still work. Yeah,
Like a Tampax.
It's
like,
kind of
we'll
similar.
have
It's like a beauty blender.
Why not? Okay.
But you just pop that up there. But sometimes it gets really up there and you've got your whole fist up there to
So
strangle it
the
out.
show goes on regardless. You have to keep
Yes,
going.
yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit of a workaholic. So I love to kind of stay busy and be productive. So yes, and I don't get bad periods. Like I'm not one of them people that's like absolutely dying on the sofa.
Yeah. And body-wise, because I mean, I think that's another thing that you are very body positive. I mean, you've got a gorgeous body.
Thank
so
you.
why you would even think that you didn't have a bad moment with your body. But like, for me, I can, if I'm like feeling, I can whack on a pair of Spanx and, you know, wear something a bit baggy. I mean, there is nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Do you feel pressured to maintain or stay a certain way?
I think everyone in the public eye kind of does.
Yeah, but yours is a level up.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, as well, it's hard like when you're working with like such beautiful women and you do compare yourself. So yes, the body thing can be hard, but it's also made me so confident in an aspect of you're walking around naked people all day. You know, I go to a shoot house and it's constantly like you see a nude real bodies. And so you do just realise, like, you know what, what's the bloody big deal about all this? So that's made me a lot more confident. And then also, like, the other factor of, like, all these thousands of people are paying to see me naked. So, like, I can't be half bad.
Well, no. Very gorgeous. What about, when you said, you know, real bodies, I guess there is a certain type of body. And I know people are into different things, and there's areas of the internet you can literally find anything. But a lot of it is kind of perfect, or like designer vagina.
Yeah, I've had a designer vagina. So,
have you?
Yeah, and I slightly regret in a sense I wish I was that representation in the adult industry for the big labia community.
Why did you feel you had to do that?
I had this done as soon as I started OF, and it was something was actually a personal decision. I'd never had a guy comment on it or anything like that. It was my own insecurities. And I don't know if that also came a little bit from porn because of what I'd seen in porn.
This to you. This is the problem. I think because boys and women watching porn are only seeing certain vaginas and vulvas.
Yes,
and
agreed.
they're going, oh, they're all meant to be like beautiful.
Yeah, agreed.
And you're like, then you see your own and you're like, oh my God,
she's
I'm
got
weird.
a little bit more extra skin on her.
And it's like, actually, that's what women's bodies look like. So that's my issue with porn is things like that, where I just go, please just show normal fannies.
Yeah, please show normal fannies. And that's the annoying thing. I really try to be open and honest with my audience about, I've had this surgery, I've had that surgery.
Well, I'm glad you do.
Try to give people like a bit of perspective that like my vagina isn't naturally like this.
I think it's people watching, really listening. They don't want to hear that from you.
No, exactly. But that's kind of why I say like I slightly regret it, because I kind of think I wish I was that representation.
Yeah,
for that.
Natural and normal. So this is mad. Didn't know this either. Another thing, if you want to be a successful OnlyFans person, you should move to Derbyshire. The OnlyFans triangle. There must be something in the water up there. So there's you. There's Rebecca Goodwin and Bonnie Blue, all in.
Yeah, and Kieran Lee.
All up there. What's going on?
No, I know. What is going on?
I don't know. Tell me. When it comes to Bonnie Blue, is that you were friends once?
We weren't exactly friends. I would say more like colleagues. Like we'd worked together a few times.
Oh, okay.
But like when we were friendly.
Okay, you were friendly.
Yeah.
And then it became slightly less friendly, or was that not a thing? Because you both, this sort of 101 man stunt thing. Dare I ask whose idea was it first?
Well, I mean, we'll leave it to the decision of the audience.
Well, does that mean it's her?
No. It was obviously it was me.
I feel like it's Bonnie.
No, it was definitely me. I was the one who did it and stuff like that. But I didn't really care whose idea it was. Whatever.
That's
blah, 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 jib jab.
Is that like a media thing?
The thing is, I've never spoken about my relationship with Bonnie because there isn't really one.
Okay, fair enough.
There's not really much to say. I know she has a lot to say, but like maybe that's because of the media. She wants to get more media,
maybe.
Which is fine.
Maybe. I mean, there was this thing in last January, when Bonnie claimed to have slept with 1,057 men in 12 hours, and then you said, I've done 1,113 men in 12 hours, and neither has been verified. Could you verify that now? Was that true?
I mean, you can watch the 14-hour video, but...
So you did?
Yeah.
So you did 1,113?
Yeah, but I did that so differently to how I did the 100.
Okay, so we're learning.
Yes.
We're learning. So what did we do differently?
It's all about growth. For starters, I kind of had a bit of a conveyor belt going in terms of, it was basically one massive studio where I did guys all together and stuff like that. So some guys didn't even enter and stuff like that. It was more
around.
I was using all orifices and things like that.
Okay.
So when guys finished, they would leave. But as they came in, they would be able to get themselves ready and hard. And we had fluffers, or the girls there, who would get them ready for me. So that was a massive help, because that is...
I don't know why this really makes me get the giggles. Why am I finding it funny? It's ridiculous. I'm like a kid in a playground.
No, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The real underpraised people are the fluffers, because that is the hard job, getting them there and ready. So that's kind of when they came in.
Do you know the fluffers?
Yeah. The girls was super sweet.
The girls.
They were kind of on rotation.
And can I ask you? This is a weird question, but this is actually what made me laugh in my head, so I'm just going to say it out loud. Does it really smell in there?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Honest.
I knew it would. I knew it would.
You get kind of smell blind to it. A little bit.
God,
it was so hot on the day as well. It was like, whew, it was a hot day.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's all good. We're learning, we're having a good time. As an industry, so I know you can only really speak from your own experience, but I know you've heard stories. Mm-hmm. But as an industry on a whole, of which you are the 0.01% at the top echelons of all of that, how safe is it, do you think, for women going on these platforms? I would rather be honest.
Question to answer, okay? I would say OnlyFans is fairly safe. When you get to more the dark side, I would say it's the OnlyFans managers. you know, men who try and come in and be the middleman and take their percentage.
So this is what is referred to as the e-pimps.
Yes.
So people who act as managers or agents for OnlyFans content creators, but then manage to abuse that relationship to coerce women into creating content they don't want to do. They often change their account passwords, bank information, so they have control over their earnings. In some cases, the women have tried to leave their managers and they've been threatened or even attacked in their homes. Obviously, we're not talking about all people, but this does seem to be on the rise. This is quite a... This is very...
I hear of so many guys, like, young guys being like, I want to be an OnlyFans manager when I get older. I think, but how, why? What, because you want to kind of have your piece of pie and be able to kind of orchestrate the narrative and stuff like that. I don't think it's a job people should be fulfilling. I don't know. Obviously, there are some good managements out there. I would say majority probably not. I think it can...
Well, that takes away that whole thing that you said at the beginning about like autonomy of your own body.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the
there's no
beauty
freedom
of the platform.
in that.
Is that like you get to choose what you put on there. You get to do what like you want to do. But it's having that like being able to like self-produce your own stuff and not having that middleman there. But now I just feel like we're taking it back to when in porn, when it was a lot more dangerous and people would have like pimps or agencies where they would kind of push the girls to do more extreme stuff.
I think it's human nature, you know.
Yeah.
I think what happens is that kind of darkness starts to wriggle in.
Yeah.
People start to take advantage of
Definitely.
it. I think, like, as a woman, I think both things are true. Like, you can freely choose sex work and you can still be exploited within the industry.
Yeah, nothing's black or white.
It really isn't.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea is you have to protect yourself, but the thing is there are many vulnerable women choosing this out of desperation.
This is what I was going to say, yeah.
So how can something be done to protect these women more? Like, does it need to be more regulated? Do people, somebody needs to be doing something?
This industry like breeds vulnerable people because of the nature of it. And so there does need to be so much more regulations, whether that's something that the government takes on or OnlyFans, to kind of put in place some just more like ownership over like this industry in terms of the management. We have no HR. Like when you sign up, there's no guidebook on how to do it or anything like that. So when someone sells you this big dream that they're going to make you millions and you're a vulnerable person and you sign this contract within a second, you know, you don't ever get anyone to look at it or anything like that.
Well, it's not your usual sort of business exchange, is it?
No.
You know, you sign up to the platform and then really they just take a percentage of your earnings without having to give any care.
Yeah.
There's no sort of duty of care there. So I feel like as an outsider looking at this, I go, well, that's not right.
Yeah.
Like, if you're willing to take somebody's money, you've got to be able to, when the chips are down, you need to be there to protect them in some way too.
Definitely.
There's also a whole other school of thought when you said about the government also, that for the government, this is a system that works really rather beautifully, because in 2023, OnlyFans paid 100 million in UK corporation tax. So in their heads, they're going, well, this is generating loads of money. If it's
money
not
maker.
broke, don't fix it. You hadn't heard that?
No, I hadn't.
Yeah.
I hadn't ever heard that statistic before, but I know we do generate a lot of money for the government. You know, I do pay taxes, so I know that for sure. And it's hard to hear that they won't safeguard us.
Well, this was my next point, which is, do you think it's because you are in the sex industry that women aren't really taken that seriously?
100%.
So does it really matter if they're having a bad time because they've chosen to go into this?
Yes, that is a lot of people's opinions on it, is that like they don't humanize us.
Yeah.
It's so degrading when you just hear, well, like, that was her choice.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
Yes.
Okay, why do you do that? Why do you?
Obviously, I believe in equal rights.
Yeah.
I've always been like that. I think that everyone should be a feminist.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm not saying that you're not. I think that, I guess a lot of people would say, I'm just trying to balance this with the argument where they'd say, you're working in an industry, yes, you've got freedom to choose this, that and the other, but it is all under the male gaze. It is, you know, it's a system built around male demand.
Yeah.
So how do you balance those two things together?
I could also argue that obviously a lot of females watch porn as well.
But not as many. I mean, I do get that.
Yes.
Or do they?
I mean, I grew up like when I was 18 loving porn. Like, I really, really did. and it's just brought me so much freedom. And I also do try to help the industry and give people like a bit of an insight into it, of like, you know, porn's not real, we are actors. Even just like why there would be bigger willies in the adult industry and that this is not the norm.
Yeah. It's hard though, isn't it? Because you see that, you don't see the explanation for it, you just see the thing and then everybody imagines that's the optimum, the best, and the rest of it.
I think there just needs to be so much more education on it.
Yeah, we'll come to that. People have said, and I'd just like to get your sort of answer to this, that you are objectifying yourself and therefore fueling misogyny.
Yes.
Do you feel like that?
No. In my terms, what I've done, I mean, obviously everyone can always play their own argument, but like, I've always done it kind of for myself, for my own sexual expression, is that the right word? To be fulfilled, freedom, like, it's just, the industry has given me so much in terms of like happiness, fulfillment for a job. Like, I go to work every single day and most days I love my job. Like, not many people can say that. Even like the artistic side of it, and I see this job as a marketing job. I don't see it necessarily as like just a sex worker job. There's so many different avenues that you have to fulfill. Like, it is a massive business at the end of the day. I've got like a big team and stuff like that really help. And so it's much more than what people would think, that I'm just getting railed or whatever you want to say every single day. And that can be degrading. Like, just because maybe I enjoy some more like kinky stuff than other women do doesn't make it bad. At the end of the day, I also want to say to other girls, like, maybe other girls' fantasies have been to have a gangbang or been with multiple men in a day or anything like that, and that's also okay.
Also, I think probably most women, no matter what line of work they're in, have experienced misogyny in some way or form. Like, it's not just exclusive to your to your world.
At the end of the day, I've got the last laugh. You know, I don't really care what people say about me, because like, I'm the one who's happy.
Do you get more criticism from men or women?
Honestly, maybe women, which I think is wild, because like you would think women would be a little bit more open to the idea of sex work.
What's their main criticism that they hold against you?
I think that I am portraying women in a negative way, which I can so understand that perspective of.
What way do they think you're portraying women?
That we are sluts and that that's all we do, we have sex and that's all we're good for. I can understand that, but I would also like to say that I am like an anomaly. This is me, this is my body, this is my choice. You guys don't have to do this.
No.
This is purely just like something I've chosen to do.
What's harder to listen to, people criticising you or people with concern for you?
I think people being concerned for me, because I would just love them to put that kind of energy into someone who needs it. You know, you see so much concern from me when there's so many vulnerable people out there being exploited.
Of course, yeah. So I'm gonna, like, there's some evidence about porn here, and I've got both sides, so don't panic when I start going down.
Yeah, go for it.
But it's interesting. So the UK government commissioned a review that found evidence linking pornography consumption with increased objectification of women. So that happens.
Yeah.
It does. That's a fact.
Yeah.
A greater acceptance of sexual aggression. So it does.
Yes.
That's a fact. Unrealistic sexual expectations. You're aware of that yourself. Higher likelihood of aggressive sexual behaviours. So those are 4 quite major things that porn is encouraging. Like, I mean, I'm pretty open-minded and free, but I don't love that. I've got to say, like, you can't like.
No, you can't deny the stats. Yeah.
Okay, like that's not great.
Yes. I definitely think porn can be negative, 100%. I don't think anything's like good or bad. I think it's so like circumstantial. As well with them facts, I think it just needs to be like governed a little bit more, porn, in terms of like, say you go onto the Pornhub and you see the For You page, it can be really degrading sex, but then you go onto another porn site and it's porn made for women by women.
Because I think the hook to get people to keep watching stuff is that it's like more. It's like, show me more stuff. The next thing, that suddenly something regular becomes really boring very quickly.
Yes.
And I think that escalation is the thing that's quite scary, because you go very, very quickly, you go from just normal sex to something a lot darker.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of like some of my, you know, fans, their fantasies have gotten a lot more extreme because, you know, they got so used to maybe like watching a certain type of porn that it then becomes boring and mundane. So then they try to find something more exciting.
I mean, that is worrying.
Yes, definitely.
That is.
I think as well, though, it's all about kind of not like schooling yourself a little bit, being like, in terms of, you know, you need to check yourself. At the end of the day, if you drank every single day, you'd probably become an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So it's like having that restraint of like remembering that, like, you know, not to be like watching porn every night and making it an addiction.
Yeah.
And it can be addictive, 100%.
Maybe should it have like government warnings, like cigarettes or?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not joking.
No,
like,
no. Yeah.
To kind of go.
I was like, that's really smart. Wow.
Thank you very much. You can take that.
I'm going to take that. Yeah, I'll take that idea.
I'm going to counter what I just said, because I said I would. There's not quite as many. But other researchers argue that pornography is frequently blamed for problems that already exist. They say that correlation isn't causation, that violent men may simply consume more violent pornography rather than pornography creating violent men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's already there.
Yeah.
The appetite's already there.
Definitely.
It's not growing. Do you worry that porn is becoming the only sexual education young men, women are getting?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I would even say, like, we need to argue to have pornography educated in schools.
I agree with that, by the way. And I think, but people hear that, they go, what, you'd show porn to the kids? And it's like, no.
In an age-appropriate way, idiot.
But also just talking about it because it's there. Like, the genie is out of the bottle. There's no going back.
No,
like, you have to, I think with all of these things, it's like, give them the tools they need that they can,
make
if they're
an
going to
educated
watch
decision,
it, they can then understand that it's not. It's like wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like wrestling. It's like they're not actually fighting.
Yeah, but we need to talk about it so much more. Like, it's so taboo, but everyone's watching it.
Yeah.
You know.
I know exactly. Something you said which was really interesting, and I wondered if this should be almost a thing that was shown or talked about at school, which is before you do any of your filming, say if you're with a guy, you all talk about consent beforehand.
Yeah.
You all talk about what you're happy with, what you're not.
Yeah.
And all of that is discussed.
Yes.
Sexual health is really important.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more to just walking into a room and having sex with someone.
100%. Like, there's so much prep that goes into it in terms of just like communicating everything with each other. Like, even usually it's more like when I do like porn as in production filming, because it's so safe these days. Like, they send you like a list beforehand where you can tick your do's and don'ts of what you want to do and what you don't want to do. So it's like there's no pressure even when you're in the moment to say that. And then obviously
have to go along with it.
You even discuss then like what is on your list, and they know that. And then you've already shown all your sexual health testing. You have to have a full board every 14 days. That's industry standard. I would argue that it's so much safer than having sex regularly, like how civilians have sex.
Because there's people looking out for things. But the trouble is that's kind of like the safe area, but there are so many like little dark areas where things are going on where that's not the case.
Well, as well, like with OnlyFans filming, when you meet a creator, there's no safeguarding with that, because as obviously I will be like, well, you need your tests, we need to have a conversation, But in terms of like vulnerable people, they could go to a collaboration with someone and, you know, they could start drinking, or they could be doing recreational drugs. And
there's no drink or alcohol on set on any of your things.
But obviously with collaborations, you can't really regulate that. And, you know, then there might be some harm done that.
Sounds like there needs to be a bit more industry-wide regulations.
Yeah.
I'll write some. I'll send them.
Thank you.
Okay. This is an area of your life that I don't think I've heard you speak about before, and I hope we're okay to go there and tell me if we're not. But you were baptised at the end of last year.
Yeah.
So faith is incredibly important in your life.
Yeah.
Your family were quite religious. were they?
Yeah, like fairly, I would say, like kind of how the average, well, like we went to church every so often, kind of how the average.
So it was there, and then you've come back to it.
Yeah.
So how come you've come back to it? What was the catalyst for that?
I think as a child, like growing up, your parents don't really describe to you like why we're religious or anything like that. We just go to church, and I didn't really see the reasoning behind it. So when I came to an age of like, I think like 13 or 14, where I got to choose my activities, I definitely didn't choose going to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
So I kind of moved away from my religion. And then I kind of came back to it last year. I kind of had a bit of a moment where I was like, I was being so ungrateful. I felt like I had no, like, not reasoning to be here, because that sounds really dark, but like I felt a little bit like lost. And I kind of came back to it for some more guidance, and it just helped to really ground me as a person and make me a better person.
What did you need grounding from?
I think...
Because I know what's going to happen. There's going to be everybody going, well, it's clearly what she needed grounding from.
Yeah.
They're going to go, well, stop doing that and you won't feel so lost.
No, I think
so I just want you to reply to that now so that doesn't all happen.
Thank you. I think it was living on social media. Like, I've spent my life around social media. I obviously really grew up during the age of it. And then when I started my job, I kind of like a little bit lost touch with my friends. And this was at a time where like me and my family were going through stuff, and so we're a little bit more distant. And I just felt like every day I was just on my phone and living in this world that wasn't real.
That's no good.
Yeah, and like I was searching myself up every day and like reading these mean comments. And honestly, that was like self-harm,
It is.
you know? And I just feel like I was living in this world that wasn't actually real. You know, I took myself out of that and was like, right. And kind of came back to faith. And it's really helped me to just be more present.
Well, that's my next question, actually. What has God given you that fame couldn't?
I think, just like being so grateful, being present, like thanking God for just like the little things. And just also like having someone to talk to and having that guidance there. I think this was also like a little bit the time where I was like kind of doing stuff, like felt like I kept having to do more and more and more.
The escalation.
Yeah, a little bit. And it brought me back to like, what do I want to do? And like, that was kind of more where I was coming from. And like, also, how can I help? At the end of the day, God put me, I know this is going to sound so whack to some people.
It's fine, it's your thing.
God put me into the adult industry for a reason. And I think a lot of that was to do with like the education of the industry and helping it to be more like regulated and helping with like guidance with like young, maybe more vulnerable people in the adult industry.
Well, you definitely would be a good person to help make change there, because you've lived it and experienced and have more knowledge of it anywhere else. So maybe that's something you should more actively
I'm trying to like pursue it. Like, how do I get into Parliament?
When you escalate your next thing, go down that road.
Yeah.
Go down activism.
Yeah.
You'll be good at that.
Yeah.
So again, like obviously in my head, or most people, when they think of the Christian faith, they think of like a traditional Christian life. You're quite the contradiction of that.
Yes.
How do other Christians react to that? Do you get a mixed...
I have had a lot of Christians online not accept me. I believe these to be
very unforgiving of them.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it seems they always seem like a bit performative Christians. When they're saying...
I mean, let's, like, in the way that I wouldn't want them to judge you, it's like, let's not judge them either, because we don't know, but I understand
when
what
someone's
you're saying.
saying they're doing everything good and they're the perfect person, I don't know if I really...
Believe it.
Yeah, like, it's not something I would say myself. I'm definitely not perfect.
No one
but
is.
I mean, that's a big part of the faith, is the non-judgment.
Yeah.
So like, I would like to think that a lot of Christians are open arms, and at the end of the day, I'm not trying to, like, why would we try to circle off our faith and be like, no, you can't come in.
You're not
allowed in because you've done X, Y, and Z. We can pick apart everyone's lives and say what they've done wrong. But yeah, I think it's important just to be open arms to everyone.
Yeah, no, I agree. You met Sammy?
Yes.
So how long have you been together?
4 months.
4 months.
Sounds a bit ridiculous.
So this is really new. No, I was really happy to hear this, because, and actually I don't feel so bad saying this, because you thought the same thing. You were like, am I ever going to have a relationship when I have a career like this.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be difficult to find somebody that is accepting of all of this.
Yeah.
And you have.
Yeah.
Which,
it's a surprise to me.
well, but lots of adult performers have relationships, marriages, successful. So
Yeah.
actually, it's actually more common than I realised, actually. So what was it about him that you liked?
Oh, he's just the most gorgeous person. He's so empathetic, so, and it sounds horrible to say about a man, but like so soft and so gentle, so kind, so communicative. He's just the most loving soul and so wholesome. And like, I think that was always such a worry of mine going into the adult industry. That's why I didn't do boy-girl content for quite a long time, because I thought no one's ever going to accept me. I had their own opinions about my own industry until I kind of delved into it and realised, everyone has like partners in this industry, like, and there are people like me. There's a Jack for every Jill, and that's kind of why I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this to the fullest extent that I want to do, and hope that I still can find someone, which I have.
How did you meet him?
Through another adult industry friend, Annie Knight. Her fiance, he was best friends with her. So it was kind of weird because he obviously knew of her and knew Annie for Annie.
Yeah.
And saw behind all the marketing and her job, saw that she's just a
person
lovely
behind it,
human.
the real person.
Yeah.
And so how does it work then? Because I've got lots of questions.
Yeah, go
Lots of questions. So how does it work? Do you have rules? Is there things you can and can't do? Is there anything off the table? Does he watch your porn?
He does watch. He watches my porn. He actually came to like a content house. I think it's a nice thing to him for be able to delve into the industry and be able to see what kind of like good people and good intentions people have.
But is there not a bit of him that's going, that's my girlfriend who's having sex with somebody else?
I think it's a bit of a kink of his, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's all right then.
Like he gets
God.
off to it. He pleasures himself to my porn and my porn only. And so it's something that he actually enjoys himself, that I do this job. And I think as well it comes from like the reclaim of it, of like, after our shoot, we go off and we can have this intimate time, and I'm his at the end of the day. The other thing off the table is kissing. Yeah, we don't do that because I think it's such an intimate
This is Very
thing.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
You kissed him on the mouth?
Yeah, it's so intimate. And also, like, sometimes I don't want to kiss every guy that I work with anyway. So I was happy to leave that off the table.
And that's okay? That's been allowed? That's not nobody has an issue with that?
Yeah, no
That's
one
good.
has.
Good. And can you actually be bothered to be intimate when you get home? Are you like, oh my God?
Sometimes I'm like, not tonight.
Yeah.
Not tonight. 100%. I think that's everyone when they come home from work and you're like, all right, ready for a glass of wine and watch some Netflix. Never mind. Getting down dirty, 100%. But I think I do have a big sexual appetite, and the difference is when I have sex with my partner, it's that like super intimate, like when two become one kind of sex. And obviously
it's real sex.
Yeah, it
loving
really is.
sex.
It's love, like we make love to each other. And obviously we can still have some kinky moments and do some dirty stuff, but I get that fulfillment of like the real kind of like dirty performative sex more in my work.
Yeah.
And so when I get home, I don't really want to do that with my partner. So it's nice to have that like...
Have that balance.
Yeah.
Well, I'm delighted for you. Like, I'm glad that you found that, because I think everybody needs someone to... Well, not everybody, but it's quite nice to have someone to share your life with, isn't it?
Definitely.
Like you can just offload, talk to. Like,
bounce board, just vent to.
Exactly. You're still so young.
Yeah.
It's like mad. And like, is this a young person's game? Like, do you feel like you've got...
I'm ancient in my industry. I'm a veteran, yeah.
Are you really?
Yes, I've been doing it like 6 years and I'm nearly 25.
Oh my God, you're so old.
Yeah.
So 25, but you could go on for a long time. I mean, like, what is the retirement age?
There's always a kind of a niche for everyone. So I do believe I can kind of diversify and change into a MILF, maybe get my tits done, something like that.
Okay.
And so I've always think there's any age you can do this job at, which I really love. And people love to say, well, you're not going to be able to do this forever. Yes, I will. If I want to, I will.
Yeah, if you want to.
So I've always said, like, I'll do it until I stop enjoying it. But then I also, like I said, I love to, like, diversify kind of what I do for work in terms of, like, being more guidance and being more help and maybe being, like, a bit of a spokesperson for the industry. Or I would love to like produce my own porn. That would be super fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like porn made by women for women. That's super fun. And just like different projects. I've done a little bit of reality TV when I was in Australia, and that was super fun to do.
Yeah.
Love having a bitch fight.
We're going to see you on Strictly.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Imagine.
No, I think I'd get burned at the stake.
I'd watch. Great.
I'm terrible. I've got 2 left feet. I'd be all over the place.
Well, it's even better. You're there to learn. So, am I allowed to ask if you are thinking about family? I know that that's like a thing. People go, "Why are you asking the woman about family?" But the reason I'll give a bit of context to this because I just wonder whether being a mum changes you anyway. Like I changed massively when I was mum. My work priorities really changed. Like everything, they become number one, and everything else changes. And I just wonder whether that's something that goes through your head. So that's the only reason I'm asking the family question.
No, not yet. I think I might. I don't really know. It's one of the things where I'm still like, oh gosh, because I prioritise my work so much and
We're still young.
enjoy it that I'm like, I can't imagine having a child to take care of. Like, you know, every time I go to the airport, I'm like, what would be worse right now if I had a 4-year-old to look after?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it's hell on earth, I can imagine. But obviously, probably maybe one day when I get a little bit older, I've always wanted to be an older mum. And I think that that's really nice that, like, women these days are getting, like, being able to have their career and be a bit, like, older mums and stuff like that. But it's definitely something I thought of. Obviously, I know you might ask the question, like, what are you going to do when you have a kid and you're in this work? Yeah. But I think it's, one, a bridge I'll cross when it comes to it.
Yeah.
2, I think it's all about kind of like how you bring up your child. Like, obviously I'm not ashamed of anything I've done. I'm so happy to like speak that through with my child at like an age appropriate time and bring them up in a way that to be non-judgmental about the adult industry. And so it's not too much of a problem. I think there's worse things to be done than an adult star having a child.
Listen, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
I've really loved talking to you and just finding out a bit more about this. I really have. I've no doubt that your answers won't have satisfied everybody out there.
That's fine.
But I still think that
bring on the hate comments.
It's good to ask the questions.
Yes, no, I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad to have had a voice.
Well, we did reach out to OnlyFans for a right to reply and they haven't got back to us. But what I would like you to do now, and this is something that I ask all our guests to do, this is my guest book, and in here we have all the women and people that come and sit on the sofa. But we get them to write something in here, and this is a piece of advice or something you've learned along the way, something you'd like to pass on to other people. And the idea is at the end we'll have this kind of book full of the most amazing advice from people who've had completely different lived life experiences.
Wow.
So Lily, if you would do that for us.
This is a big moment.
I know. Don't worry, we won't judge your spelling. No judgment here. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Can I have a hug, please?
Yes, definitely.
It's been great to meet you. It really has. You look after yourself.
For having me.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. See you. Bye.
Bye.